Hello and welcome to Warframe. My name's Todd, also known as Major Mech, and this is, of course, Warframe. Last time we left off completing the Uranus Junction, and just going forward with that, we're going to be doing our Master Rank up test that we just unlocked for Master Rank 5. But a new event has started. The Stalker's Acolytes have been found, and Barracuteer has arrived once again on PC. Let's see, I don't think I've changed any of my mods or any of my gear, so I'm not going to worry about any of that for this exact moment. We will be jumping straight into our Master Rank tests once I do a little bit of explaining. I will state that Barracuteer has come with something very special. You know what, let's show it off. Let's just head into the relay and go talk with Barrow real quick. Barrow, of course, has a rotating inventory that changes and gets one new thing every time he arrives, so it is always worth it to figure out what he's had in the past and what he may have in the future. Let's skip that. We'll skip that. So we just go talk to Barrow real quick. So Barracuteer's inventory, of course, is bought through ducats and large amounts of credits. Right now, we don't really have the credits to
may I extend
purchase
an
things, but we
invitation
will
to you?
soon.
My latest collection of choice items from the Void is now available for viewing.
So this time around, he's got a couple of mods. Barracuteer, of course, is the only source of primed mods. So if you were wondering how some people got primed mods, you get them from Barracuteer. Currently, the best one that he's got is primed continuity. It's used in a lot of Warframe builds. He's also got some other weapons, but the main one that he's got that's different this time around is the Ignis Wraith. Now, the Ignis Wraith is a weapon that you could previously get from an event. And then for the longest period of time, you could not get at all, unless your clan participated in that event. So it's nice to see that they've reintroduced that through the form of Barrow. You can now get the Ignis Wraith without having your clan do the event, or without knowing a clan that does the event, or did the event, that is. So if you are looking to pick up a very, very good area of effect weapon, this basic Grenier Flamethrower is amazing. So if you've got the ducats and you've got the credits to purchase that, go ahead and pick that up. I would highly recommend that you pick that up. The other two weapons, the Viper Wraith and the Volcar Wraith, are okay, but I would not consider them worth your time if you're just starting out. Really, the Ignis Wraith is definitely something better to pick up. Barracuteer's got a bunch of other things as well. He's also got the Sands of Inaros blueprint, which, if we complete our Master Rank up test, we'll actually come back and buy that, because that'll start a quest for us, and we can potentially get the Inaros Warframe from that.
A little out of your reach. Perhaps a Darvo deal would be more useful?
I do have to admit, Barracuteer's sense of humor is pretty good. But let's head out of the relay. We're going to go back into our ship. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Acolyte event and kind of show off the new part of the UI that's for that event, and explain a little bit of how it works. So the Acolyte event is effectively like mini boss fights. They're effectively the Stalker's apprentices, I suppose you could say. They cycle through a bunch of different people, I guess we could call them people, kind of enemies. Right now, currently, since the event just started, Angst is the first Acolytes that you can fight. Currently, their location is unknown. So the way the Acolytes work is the Acolytes appear in a random mission throughout the star chart. It can literally be any mission on the star chart, as far as I understand, aside from maybe Assassinates. I've never seen them appear in an Assassinate before. Effectively, once they are found by the first player to find them during the event, their location will become known. And then players can rush in and attack them and deplete their health. So once they've depleted a certain number of hit points or health percentage, the Acolyte will then change location. Again, it can be anywhere on the star map, and this will cycle through until the Acolyte is dead. So until their health reaches 0. Once their health reaches 0, the next Acolyte will appear, and that it just cycles through all the different Acolytes until the Acolytes are gone. This event, of course, as stated by our handy little news feed, will last until February 1st. If you are hunting the Acolytes, the main Acolytes I would suggest you hunt after are Torment, Torment
Tenno, a
drops
new
the
alert
mod
has begun.
known as
It
Argon
will be
Scope
marked on
and other
navigation.
mods like it, which are very, very valuable. Showing off the noggles here, but effectively Torment is effectively like the Mesa sort of looking Acolyte. All the Acolytes, of course, look like Warframes with the Stalker's kind of head and some
Operator,
random pieces
did
of
you
armor.
hear that? It said
Torment is the Mesa variant. She, as I stated, has Argon
cosmic
Scope and
background
other
radiation is a
mods
riot.
very like Argon Scope, like Hydraulic Crosshairs. Another great one to tackle would be Violence. Violence has the Bladed Rounds mods and also Maiming Strike. So if you're wondering where those come from, they come from Violence. Let me see here. The other one is Mania. Mania is great because Mania drops the Weeping Wounds augment, or mod that is, and the Weeping Wounds mod is great for status builds on your melee weapons. Overall, the other mods for Mania aren't super great, but the Weeping Wounds one is fantastic. Last but not least, Misery is a fantastic one to fight when Misery appears. Misery drops all the Acolyte mods, but he's also the last of the Acolytes that you will get the chance to fight. He's pretty much the end of the Acolyte event. So once you see a Misery appear, you know that the Acolyte event is near the end. Those are the main ones. Angst and Malice do drop some useful mods, but nowhere near as useful as the three that I talked about previously, Torment, Mania, and Violence. Those three are the ones you definitely want to get on and fight if you have the chance to. Alright, now jumping straight into it, let's just go do our Master Rank up. We'll do this, we'll jump back into Barrow, and hopefully pick up the Sands of Inaros blueprint. So this is the hacking
are more
one.
than just fighters. Prove your intellect by hacking these terminals.
And we will do just that. You can use ciphers throughout this event. I'm going to try not to. I'll see if we have enough time. I think I can get it. This isn't even as hard as it could be with this one. It's not cycling the timer there. So this should be relatively easy for us. Oop. Of course I have to mess it up right on that one, huh? I think we have more than enough time to complete it. The Corpus hacking minigames are very easy. The Grenier ones are probably the more difficult ones. And so we'll just go like this, like this, like that, and there we go. Done did it. And that is the 5th Master Rank Up test.
A formidable performance. This test is now
Honestly,
complete.
compared to later
Another
hacking
job
things you'll have to do,
executed.
that was very simple. You can, of course, use ciphers if you just want to completely and utterly bypass those entirely. So just bring 6 ciphers with you and you're good to go. But overall, it's kind of a good practice to just do them manually, as you'll have to do harder hacking later in the game, as I stated, especially during sorties, which is an event that we haven't gotten to yet at all. We're going to jump back into Barrow real quick, and then we'll try and knock out some missions towards completing the next junction. I don't think we'll worry about the Sands of Inaros just yet. There's lots of different parts to that, and doing it early is kind of I want to say a tall order, but it's not easy, that much I will say.
My latest safari in the void
Okay,
has
let's pick
yielded
up
spectacular
Sands of
finds.
Inaros.
Unique items.
Oh,
for
we
the
do also
Tenno
have to have
distinction.
the amount of nanospores that we need, so won't be worrying about that for a little
I
bit.
underestimated you, Tenno. I do hope you didn't put yourself in a hole for this.
We're definitely not in a hole from that small amount of ducats and credits there. So you can, once you purchase the Sands of Inaros blueprint, immediately begin crafting it if you have the resources required. Let's see, it should be in miscellaneous, no. Ready to build, no. Warframe? Frame, nope. Where is it? It should be somewhere. Gear? No. Keys. Keys, okay. So it's under keys. So we can start that as soon as we get to stuff. I'm not going to worry about doing this right now. You could, if you wanted to, if you really need an RS Warframe. But personally, like I stated, doing it early in the game is not super easy. There's a lot of things that can go kind of wrong. It's better to have yourself kitted out fully before you kind of jump into that. So we're going to instead start by unequipping all of our weapons aside from our melee weapon. So that ought to be fun. This is something you do have to do for the junction, of course. You do have to equip just your melee weapon and go through some missions. It should be relatively easy for us to do the basic missions. I think we could go up this top road here and maybe do one extra mission in one of the other like trees to get across for doing it. We definitely don't want to fight Talrega with just our melee weapon. That is something I would highly not suggest. We do also have to find a sabotage though, so let's just jump into it. It should be noted that if you don't already have one, you do want a Codex scanner equipped when you first venture into Uranus, because you will need it for scanning certain objects which will unlock the Nata questline. And we'll get to that if we see some. You'll very easily be able to tell if you've been able to see them. There's like a very loud, I want to say like wailing noise.
There is a large platoon of Grenier Marine stationed here. Leave no one standing.
Should be relatively easy for us to do this even with just our melee weapon. Most of the enemies here are not super tough, though it might take us a good amount of time. Right, we're going to actually use our channeling for our melee, which usually I wouldn't do because it costs energy, but we're going to use it just because we need to kill these guys quickly if we're actually going to make it through this mission in any reasonable amount of time. Pretty much always bypass elevators. I think I've stated that previously. Elevators are a joke by Warframe standards. We're just going to cut all these guys up. So channeling with your melee weapon does use up energy. It's not free, but it does increase your damage and your status chance as well. Not 100% on the status chance, I don't remember exactly. But yeah, damage increase is the main thing you're going for there. Because we want to kill these guys as soon as possible if we're actually going to make it through this mission in any reasonable path. Or at any reasonable click. It would also be nice if we could get some assistance from other players. But I don't think we're going to get any other people joining our little game here. Sadly, not from the looks of it. Doing these missions, of course, with just your melee weapon equipped may not be the best thing if you don't have a great melee weapon, which is why I did suggest... Oh, so that was the noise that you were looking for. The enemies that we're looking for should be around in either this room or the next. That noise indicated that there are sentients around. Sentients are an enemy type we have not seen yet. They were here. So there was sentients here, you can tell by these dead Grenier bodies. I think they might have disappeared because of the noise. Hopefully we'll get a better chance to see them later on.
You've been seen.
They do have a chance to disappear if they hear you coming, which means that you won't be able to scan them effectively. So, if you do have a stealth frame, it might be okay to use that if you're trying to find the sentients to start the Nata questline. I would explain more about what the sentients are, but we can't see them yet, so once we get the chance to scan them better, we'll head on directly with that. Oh man, so now we don't have any more iron skin, and we're completely out of energy. The one downside from using melee channel. But we are taking these guys down. Galatine is not quick in any manner, though. Maybe I should have swapped to something else, or seen if I could have modded our Galatine a little bit better. We just really don't have the damage that we would like, or the crit chance on our Galatine to really make it worthwhile. I'm probably also kind of slowing it down by not using good old spin strikes, sliding attacks. blow that up. Don't worry about the damage. Kill this guy. I think that sentients only spawn one time per mission, so I don't think we're going to see anymore. If we hear that noise again, though, that will indicate that there was sentience again. But that noise pretty much means that we missed our chance for the moment. Right. We're just hitting this guy. Is this guy a bombard? Yeah, he's a maniac bombard. So this will be the first time you'll see these enemies. The maniac bombards, or maniacs in general, you first see on Uranus, and they're effectively the kind of mad genius of Tile Rhaegor, the boss of this area. There was a whole event based around them. I'm not really going to go into details because I wasn't here for the event. I never saw it in action. Effectively, we died. That was kind of to be expected, but effectively the events kind of detailed how Tile Rhaegor was experimenting on Grineer cloning and trying to create new Grineer super soldiers that would be able to compete with Tenno. In doing so, he created the Maniac series Grineer, which they have the ability to effectively teleport around. They're very annoying. Not super deadly though, as you can kind of see. That bombard should have attacked me, but he did not. Another thing you'll note about the Uranus maps is that they're based around being submersible. Sometimes you'll start underwater with your Archwing. When you're in the water, it's treated like an Archwing mission. We might run into one of those sooner rather than later, we don't really know. But effectively, you pilot it the same way you would an Archwing, it's just slower, which is kind of a disappointment. You'd think that the Archwings would be just as fast even underwater. They are not, sadly. I think that could definitely use a little bit of a revamp when it comes to the speed of things, but they did that sort of for a reason. Slower is not always worse, technically, I guess.
You are surrounded by Grineer
Sometimes the Archwing can be so fast that it's just really uncontrollable. You'll bash your head into things, and that's just not cool. Let me see. Is there anything else I was going to talk about? I don't think there's anything major to really talk about aside from maybe the enemies. You might notice that they are Drakkar Grineer. Make their home on Uranus, of course. Drakkar colored by light blue colorations and dark blues, rather than other standard Grineer, which are typically either yellow or green. We need to open up that door. Doing hacking. We just did this. We're good at this. Yeah.
Override successful. Let's get going.
So the different types of Grineer don't really change much about their Grineer. It might change the weapons that each Grineer use. That's about it. It doesn't really change how much health they've got or how much armor. Usually. There are some, caveats to that. In other words, like elite lancers are better than normal lancers. That's kind of to be expected. It's a good thing that we actually have our Galatine, because honestly doing this without the Galatine would be monumentous pain. Though doing it with the Orthos might actually be okay. Orthos might actually even be better, hard to say. You're gonna have to get used to using a melee weapon at some point, as we'll be doing it through the next 4 missions. So we'll see if we can't mod this thing to be a little bit better here once we're done. I thought I had modified it previously to be a little bit better, but it doesn't seem to be that much greater than it was previously. I think the major thing that I'm used to is having a lot more attack speed. I like my melee weapons to have just tons and tons of attack speed. Sometimes I'll use both Fury and Berserk weapons, which are 2 mods that increase attack speed. Just because I prefer that sort of speed. And I also quite like the Valkyrie Warframe. Valkyrie Warframe has an ability, that is, that increases melee attack speed, which is fantastic all around. I think that ability also increases melee damage. Not positive on that one. Regardless, if you're having problems with meleeing enemies on your Uranus, you can go potentially grab the Valkyrie Warframe, which will probably help you out when you're trying to deal with that. The Valkyrie Warframe is also really good for her ability to become effectively invincible. One of the few Warframes that has that ability. I just realized that it's probably going to take us a long time to complete these 5 missions without melee weapons, or without guns, because we're just not killing these guys very quickly. So unless we can mod this thing, our Galatine, to be a little bit better, we're going to be taking it kind of slow throughout these next few parts. I hope you'll kind of forgive me. I haven't had a whole lot of time to deal with grinding up anything extra, as I've been kind of busy with some other things in my life at the moment. But I will most certainly get to the point where we are better with our melee weapon. You can kind of see that there's some Grineer in like these tubes, or like these vats, which kind of show that Tile Rager is experimenting on them and trying to turn them into something else. Okay, one more enemy and we're done. We just run to the end at that point. Butcher, perfect.
Broken their ranks.
Let's get out of here.
On the run. Another successful mission.
Everybody else can stay alive. Doesn't really matter. Let's just get out. Spent a lot of time this episode explaining things, but that's kind of to be expected with the whole events going on. Having to explain the bit of details that we had to there. Alright. So our Galatine does rank up very good, and you can see that our Archwing can rank up, and so can our Archwing weapons. That is because the submersible stuff that I talked about previously. So if you didn't want to do the Archwing missions, you can potentially rank up Archwings through these missions on Uranus, but not the most reliable source. Alright, let's check out our Galatine and see if we can upgrade it a little bit. So we can upgrade it. Our Fever Strike, Fury's okay. We could put on Life Strike if we needed the extra healing. Let's see. Movement speed, heat. I don't see anything that would be massively useful for us. We could put on Reach. Reach might actually be kind of nice. Reach is not useful in every single melee weapon. You might think it would be because it increases the range of melee weapons. But for smaller weapons like one-handed swords and whatnot, Reach is pretty bad. It just increases... it's like effectively multiplying 0. If the reach of a melee weapon is nothing, then adding Reach doesn't really do a whole lot. And each melee weapon, I should talk about that real quick. Each melee weapon does have range, so that should be noted. Oh, we got Stretch. Oh, we got that from the junction, didn't we? Let's see what we can upgrade here. So can we upgrade Fury again? Yeah, we could do that. Can we go all the way? Yes, we could potentially go all the way. I'm going to do that. The speed of your melee weapon is critical sometimes, so just upgrading that the little bit that we did right there, that is great. We won't be able to upgrade too many other things that much, but we will. Yeah, uninstall it from Skana, that's fine. Back, so we've upgraded our Fever Strike and our Fury. Don't need to upgrade Life Strike really. 5% life steal is just fine. Healing Return is okay. You could upgrade that, I guess, but the cost of Healing Return is pretty monumentous.
Operator, the system needs you.
Let's see.
Will
Do
you
we want
begin another
Reach?
mission?
Let's select one Reach. How much is it? 70 and 3,000? Yeah, we can do that. Upgrade a Reach. True Steel and Organ Shatter are also quite good. But I don't want to spend too much trying to upgrade those, so we'll just upgrade a single one up to 3, same place. So we've got our elemental mods. Alright, so that should give us a lot more damage on our melee weapon and a lot more kind of versatility. So let's throw on Reach as a big one, and we'll also throw on Organ Shatter. Actually no, we'll throw on True Steel instead. That'll give us more crit chance. As we level it up more, we should be able to throw on Organ Shatter. Lastly, the last mod you could probably throw on would probably be something like Life Strike, Healing Return, or another elemental mod if you think you needed more damage. That's pretty much a basic melee build. But yeah, we're kind of getting there. Do I want Life Strike or Healing Return? I think I'm going to go with Life Strike because it's the only one that fits. I would actually recommend instead Healing Return over Life Strike just because Life Strike you do have to channel to get its benefit, but Healing Return is okay. We'll go with that. Let's see. So what can we go? We can go Capture, Defense, Rescue. Capture is definitely going to be easier for us, so let's jump into that instead of any of the others. If we have to, we can always select something else later. Say we hit something like Hijack, I would prefer to avoid those from now on if I'm able to. But can't always be picky. We're going to do one more mission because it's captured. It should be relatively quickly, and I think that'll
You are
end out the
here to
episode.
find our target and bring them to the extraction point.
This episode
Happy hunting.
might be a little bit longer than usual, but that's okay. So now let's test out this thing. Look at how much quicker that is. Oh, it's so much nicer. Just the Fury alone is enough to really upgrade our capabilities with a melee weapon. Alright, so let's jump across. It could be here. Let's see. Oh, there's the noise again. We might have seen a sentient at some point. I don't know where though. Jump through
The
here.
capture target has vital information
there
that we
was a
will need to
sentient here.
extract. We need our subject brought back alive.
Oh, we can still see one. Codex scanner. You gotta scan them as quickly as you're able to. Alright. So those are the sentients. Those are oculists. They're kind of like sentient fighters. You want to scan them and then complete your mission.
Tenno,
Nata will
what did
be
you see? My data stream
started
went
soon.
dark.
You can see that the Lotus just made a mention of her data stream going dark.
It will take some time to decipher. Concentrate on your mission for now.
That
Target
was
located.
the
Bring them
start
in.
of the Nata quest. So once Lotus states that her data stream goes dark, you know that you've completed what you need to begin Nata.
Mission
Now we just have to get
complete.
out.
The captive has been escorted to the extraction point. Well done.
Do note that if you fail your mission, you won't start Nata, so you do need to complete your mission successfully. At least from what I remember. I went out of my way one time to go to try and complete the objective for Nata, and I failed the mission because I wasn't able to get through it in time. That caused me problems. I don't know why that door was locked, but it was, so we're gonna go around a different way. These Grenier Sea Lab tiles, which is what they refer to them as, are kind of interesting. Very maze-like at times. But they have lots of very cool architecture that you can kind of jump across and see, and with all our cool sciencey stuff with tile Rhaegar, you know, people in tubes, it's interesting seeing it. Plus this undersea stuff is kind of cool. Explains a lot about some of the different things you could see throughout the world of Warframe and the universe. This world in particular, of course, being during this. I'm going to keep saying that, and I'm just going to leave it as is. I could make jokes about it, but honestly, you know, it's kind of a joke in and of itself. Alright, so I'll let Lotus say what she needs to say for the beginning of Nata.
Inbox messages await the operator.
Oh.
I wonder what they say.
I see. So she just sends you an inbox message. So Nata has begun. You can go to your codex, of course, and begin Nata, and we will probably do that next time. Yeah, I don't see any reason not to do it next time. But until then, happy hunting the Stalker's Acolytes, and goodbye.